So, Professor, is mutual restraint possible in an environment where we see that China is rising in more ways than one, in economic and in strategic terms? Can we expect something like that from China itself? Because I'm sure that will be in India's interests. But how do we get China to play ball on
so because I think absolutely. See, obviously, at some level, it is in India's interest to pursue a policy like this. Or you can make a case saying it's in India's interest. I'm not sure everyone buys into the case, but you can make a case. But I think it's equally in China's interest. Because if you look at it today, the most important security issues for China are those to do with its maritime boundaries. Right? Those are primarily in the East China Sea with Japan, in the South China Sea. If you look at it in terms of the issues that are of greatest importance to them today, probably North Korea is way ahead of Doklam or anything like that, right? There's just absolutely no question that is there, right? So in that sense, I think even from the Chinese point of view, a conflict with India is not necessarily something which is, something that they think is a viable option for them, which partly explains the reason why they agreed to a mutual withdrawal in the Doklam plan, right? Because at the end of the day, that piece of territory is not worth picking a fight with India, especially at this point of time. I don't think it's worth picking a fight with India for the Chinese at any point of time. It's not that strategic a territory for them. But in a context where there are so many other challenges that the Chinese are confronting, why open another front with India, right? So that I think is very much a logic that both these countries play. And let's face it, China's own internal transformation can hardly be taken for granted, right? The whole story of decelerating growth, transitioning from an investment-led to a consumption-led economy, making sure that, the Chinese sort of economic growth spreads to other parts of China, delivering on this Belt and Road Initiative, keeping sort of parties' control over the domestic political system. All of these rank way higher in priority than any conflict with India does. So in that context, I think therefore the key thing is to say what we mean by restraining alliance. I think the restraining alliance basically says that, or the restraining pact basically says, listen, we agree that we have to focus only on the most core fundamental issues for us, right? And let go of peripheral goals which are more to do with status rather than material power and so on, right? What kinds of status goals are we talking about? The Chinese expecting India to sort of come on board the Belt and Road Initiative at a time when it's just not possible for India for a variety of reasons. Or the Indians saying that, we want China to support our membership in NSG. Frankly, NSG membership is not going to get you very far up there. Whatever be the other merits of the case, it's very much what I call a status quo, right? It's not a goal which has got to do with actual realities of material power. And I think as long as India and China say that, listen, we have to focus on fundamental issues which are fundamentally domestic, whatever be growing power capabilities. And I think the one thing that nobody can deny is that the Chinese are political pluralists of the very first order. And you just have to look at the way that they deal with the United States, right? Why does Xi Jinping go to Mar-a-Lago to meet Donald Trump and spend 2 days with him? He does not expect Donald Trump to come to China, right? They do not think of it as going and kowtowing in front of them. Whatever be the other dynamic, right? So that degree of pragmatism is there. They understand the language of power, as we should. And the Chinese are a growing power, as you said. They will be assertive from time to time. They will do things which are not in our interest. But the question is whether we can come to an understanding between India and China, which says that yes, we are competitors in some ways. Yes, we have this thing, but we at least have certain core interests in not getting into a scrap with each other. And that is something that we need to preserve. And I think that's what an approach would actually pay off well at this point in time.
Okay. So we discussed India and China, but the chief country, when we talk about Doklam, territory has been claimed by Bhutan. And Bhutan's foreign policy has been guided by India. And we're assuming that for the foreseeable future that would be the case. How does Bhutan look at an issue like this? Would it view it as something that's a strategic threat to its existence in a sense? Because compared to India, which has had 3 areas where it has had conflicts with or territorial disputes with China, Bhutan is very small. And what could we see as a minor intrusion by, let's say, a country the size of India, Bhutan could see as a threat to its very existence. So how does Bhutan look at an issue like this?
Well, so again, there are 2 levels at which I think we can answer that. in the first instance, I think it's worth pointing out, particularly to an Indian audience, that when the People's Republic of China came into existence in 1949, they had some 13 land border disputes with various countries. Right? Today, only 2 remain outstanding of those land border disputes, and they are with India and Bhutan. Right? So, in India, the typical tendency is to keep saying, "Oh, why are the Chinese not settling with us?" I think we should also ask, how is it that we are the only country which is not being able to settle with China? And Bhutan remains unsettled because we control Bhutan's foreign policy. Right? So, in a sense, it's not surprising that the Bhutanese story. Because again, if you look at our own neighborhood, pretty much every country in our neighborhood which had a territorial issue with China has felt that their security is best assured by having a territorial agreement with China. That was true of Pakistan. We still claim that Pakistan gave away territory in the Sakhinan Valley and stuff. But what are they ceded claims? Because they felt it was better for them to have an agreement and not get into the India kind of situation. It's a rational approach for a smaller power to take. Nepal did the same. Burma did the same in 1960. So, left to its own devices, maybe Bhutan would think the same. Right? But clearly, we know that Bhutan is not quite the master of its own thing. But nevertheless, I think the Chinese definitely have aggravated the issue by this particular attempt of theirs to change the status quo in quite this way. And I think it will make the settlement of the Sino-Bhutan boundary a more tricky issue going forward. But nevertheless, I think from the Bhutanese point of view, it definitely makes a lot of sense for them to try and get a boundary settlement with China. But as I said, so long as the Sino-Indian boundary remains an open thing, it's not quite clear to me whether the Sino-Bhutanese boundary is going to get settled.
If we get back onto India, and India's response specifically to the Doklam incident, could we say that India borrowed a leaf from China's oldest strategic thinker, Sun Tzu's Art of War? And what we saw from India was that they stuck to the ground, knowing that the enemy wouldn't attack in that sense or wouldn't escalate if we pushed forward. The situation could be perceived as having went out of hand, and there was a significant bit of escalation. But was India sticking to its stand and making sure the troops remain at the border at the tri-junction? Was that the best sort of response to this? Also in realist terms, just staying there, making sure that the opponent is not advancing. Was that the best approach?
Well, I mean, so the really different thing about the Doklam sort of standoff, as opposed to many other standoffs that we've had on the Sino-Indian border, is that India actually sent its troops into a territory to which it is not a party. Obviously, it affects us in as much as it will affect the location of the tri-junction, but we're not a direct party, actually. And we sent our troops there. It is not quite clear whether the Bhutanese wanted Indian troops there. And then the Indian state's spokesperson was quite deft in sort of dodging the question. You go this cricketing metaphor said it does not matter whether the batsman goes down the pitch to meet the ball comes out to him or something like that. Right? So there's a bit of that, which remains a little bit unclear. But nevertheless, the fact was that you sent your troops there in order to physically block the Chinese from doing it, and you pretty much stuck to that particular area. Right now, it may seem that so far so good. Does it suggest to you that yes, standing up to China means that the Chinese are going to back up? I think those will be very dangerous sort of conclusions to reach on the basis of this particular issue, right? As I said, this was not an area where the Chinese had that kind of interest where they were wanting to make a fight with it. But at the same time, I think it's not correct to assume that the Chinese could not have escalated in a situation like this. There were reports and writings in India saying that in some ways we have an upper hand. In some very localized geographic sense, that is true, because Indian posts are in an area which pretty much overlooks the Doklam Plateau, which is like a bowl. You think about like a stadium, right? You have all these spectators sitting up and watching the match. So that was really, in that sense, yes, you had the dominating ground was with you. But the Chinese have a lot more infrastructure and capability integrate, which cannot be written off quite easily. And their decision not to escalate was a decision. It was not a constraint. Let me put it that way. I think they saw that they didn't want to pick a fight with India on this issue. The BRICS summit was coming up. There were other more important things in the situation.
Professor, in conclusion, we've discussed things on the surface, or we've discussed actions and we've analyzed outcomes and how we've reached certain foreign policy goals. India wanted to go back to status quo, wanted the construction stop. This is all on the surface. But as Sun Tzu would also say, all warfare is based on deception. How do we judge those policy goals which have not been declared by either side? How do we see whether they've been accomplished or not? And is it possible to see them, if at all? And if at all, how?
Well, I mean, the question is, what is it that India wanted and what did it get out of the Doklam Summit, right? We wanted the Chinese road construction to be stopped. Yes, I think the current resolution of the standoff has been such that the Chinese construction is not happening. Do we have an understanding from the Chinese that they will not go ahead and do this construction going forward? I don't think that is there in the public domain, and the Chinese have, in fact, their statements suggest that they have not given any such undertaking. And I think it's fair to say that the de-escalation was pretty much about here and now rather than anything to do in the future, right? The question for us is whether the Chinese are going to sort of continue doing that, or is it? And my sense, frankly, is that this game will continue not in places like Doklam but in other parts of the Sino-Indian boundary, because the logic of the situation is that the Chinese have a huge lead in terms of logistics, infrastructure along the border, and we are the one who's playing catch up. And it is in China's interest to prevent India from catching up, right? So, and then you will find that India's sort of attempts at developing this thing will be thwarted by the Chinese going forward, just like you try to do it, right? And at that point of time, believe me, the Chinese will invoke such precedents. So we've got to be prepared for what is coming ahead of us. So instead of seeing the Doklam as some kind of either a single issue or where one week prevailed and so on, you have to understand it as part of a larger sort of continuum of strategic interactions between India and China. And understand that, at the end of the day, the Chinese do have principal strategic advantages over us. So as a smaller player, in some ways, you have to be much more nimble, agile, and asymmetric in the way you think about dealing with China.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor. So this was Professor Srinath Raghavan, and we discussed China. And one strong takeaway from this interview is this, and I think any student of strategy could see this as an important takeaway, that it's amateurs who care about strategy. Experts, they care about the logistics.